Hello, welcome back everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wanted to share this figure with you. This is Marvel Legends Death's Head. I got this via Hasbro Pulse for $39.99. I believe this was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive in 2024 here. But you can get this, again, I got mine via Hasbro Pulse. You can get it via Big Bad Toy Store, I believe. So it is available through other retailers online. Of course, here you see the packaging itself, Death's Head. We got a bit of a power specs there, all his measurements, his weight, 420 pounds. I guess theoretically his first appearance. I know this guy from Transformers, hence why he is joining the collection. But I'm going to open this up and give you guys a look. Now, let's move on with Death's Head here. We have him out of the box. You do get a cool little background here. Accessory-wise, you get 2 additional fists, which are done in the blue and yellow. I think they're done really well. These are just closed fists that I'm assuming you could use, right, to punch other characters out. We've got his shield, which is done here in this yellow with silver, and you got some battle damage or scratches there. You also have a couple of pegs to tab in the weapons into here, into these 3 slots, and of course one to mount this shield on his back, and then another one to mount the shield to one of his hands so he can hold it. So pretty cool. Weapon wise, we get 3 of these things. So let's start off here with this mace or a flail. I forget what this is called, but it's done in this black and gray plastic, and it's soft rubber, so I don't think you'll have any issues with getting hurt. I really do wish these were actually harder plastic. The handle itself, it's a nice solid feeling. But obviously the spikes here are softer, so you get that. Next weapon you do get is also this, I'm going to call it a little missile here. And again, it's really well done. Gray, dark black plastic, some nice detailing there on the weapon. And then the last one is this axe. Not too long, but again, some nice little detailing there in this dark gray plastic. This is soft. Again, I wish this would have been harder plastic at least, but it's soft rubber. All 3 of these weapons, of course, have pegs here, so they can attach. Either he can use these to hold weapons, or you can pull the hands out and attach them to the hands. I'll show you that in a second. Also, as I mentioned, these weapons can be attached here to the back of the shield. So if you wanted to, you can do that, and then do that, and then do something like that. So this can hold the weapons, and then you can then take this and attach it to his back. There is a peg here, so you know, if you want him to hold all his weapons like so, he can certainly do that. So that's it for the accessories onto the figure itself, and it's really nicely done. We'll start off here with these shoulder pads that are done in this soft plastic or rubber. They are not attached in the front, they're attached in the back via the cape. I believe these look to be tabbed in and also glued in, so just something to be cautious about. But again, some nice detailing there. Got some battle damage, some scratches, some bullet holes, etc. You got a little red or blue plastic painted red into a ring to join both sides. So pretty cool detail there. The head, again, Death's Head, better have a really cool looking head, and in this case he does. Definitely what I recall from that comic from way back when. You got the little teeth sort of going up, and his red horns. This is a almost lighter gray plastic, so it's really cool, really well done here. And the head can move fully all the way around. He can look up, and he can look down quite a ways too, so that's really cool. Then moving on down, you'll see his chest here. It's painted yellow, and he's got the silver accents here. Reminds me a lot of Colossus from the X-Men. And here on the torso there is some articulation, so you can turn the waist fully around, and then he can look down. He's got a bit of an ab crunch there, so that's really cool, and you can use this to essentially look up a bit. So You got the articulation there. Moving on to the arms again, we've got that whole, I'm going to call it Colossus look, but I know, this has been used countless times. But you got this gray metallic like plastic here with the line work, so that's really cool. And then you've got the blue gloves with the yellow to match the chest here. And right now he's got the hands kind of reaching out, spread out, for lack of a better term. Articulation wise, this guy can probably go about that much. His joints for mine on the shoulders are very tight. You also do get a bicep articulation, so you could turn the bicep fully all the way around. So that's, again, if that's something for you could do, then that's really cool. Then we've got elbows, which on mine again are pretty tight, not too much, again less than 90, so that's a bit of a disappointment. It kind of hits this section of the glove here, but that's about it. And then we move on to the hands. Again, these can be pulled in and out, but you can fully rotate them all the way. And of course you got a joint here, so he can move them up and down. These hands you can pull out. They're fairly easy to take out. And then here you can attach any of the weapons. So if you take the axe here, you could just stick it in there, and there you go. Now he's got an axe on one arm, so that's really cool. Keep on moving down here to the waist. Got this awesome belt in yellow and red, some nice detailing there. And then here on the rest of the hip skirts and the front skirt piece, very similar plastic, that's a rubber that's being used as the shoulder pads there. So again, really cool. And then you've got the red detailing there on the skirt. Below here, he's got some blue painted shorts, nothing too crazy. And then we keep on moving down. He's got the same sort of silver with the stripe legs. Got some line work there for muscle definition, so that's really cool. And then again, you keep on moving down here. You've got double jointed knees, which is really cool. The joints on mine, again, were really tight, so I had to play around with them for a bit. So you see, there is a joint there, but there's also one additional joint here on the upper knee, which takes some work. So just be really careful when you're moving yours. It almost feels like I'm gonna break something if I pull on it too hard, but there you go, a second joint. So just be really cautious. You're just gonna have to play around with it for a bit. Moving on down here to the boots. These there is a joint there, so they're separated, so you can turn the boot fully around. And these match the gloves pretty well, except for they don't have the little lines that the gloves, the gauntlets, I guess I'm gonna call them, up here do. There's some nice line work here, versus here it's just plain yellow. But the boots are okay, they're nicely done. Of course, you got the little spikes or horns like he does on his head down here as well. And then down here, continuing down to the foot. Again, you got some nice line work, no detailing. I mean, you've got some sole detailing here, but nothing too crazy. And of course, you got the peg hole there, and this foot you can move up and down. You guys could see it there. You could, you can't really rotate it too much. Of course, that's achieved via up here, but you can move it left to right, and of course, you can turn it up and down. So overall, some pretty good articulation here on the upper knees. You can, he'd be able to do a split, but the skirts here kind of get in the way. So that's probably about as far as you'll get with the kicking the legs up. And he can kick forward, but again, the skirt here is going to get in the way. Can't really move mine back too much. They kind of just stop right there. There is an additional joint up here, so you can turn the leg this way. It's on the upper leg. So again, some nice articulation on this guy. I think he looks really cool. Moving on back here, he's got this awesome cape, nicely textured red with some detail work here. It looks like it's all ripped. It's got holes in it, and again, it's not plain red, so you've got some folds, some line work, and again, it's not all nice in texture. Of course, I showed you earlier the peg here for the shield. So, and you've got the same theme of the gray line work there. And then underneath here, you'll see pretty much the same motif as the front. You got the yellow, and you got the gray, and then you see there the back of his shorts in gray. So pretty cool overall. I mean, the figure itself looks really cool. So here, put him into a bit of an action pose there, like he's walking towards Got him holding the mace on one hand, and I switched the axe for his, I guess, missile weapon, as I'm going to call it, and attached the shield here with the axe to the back. The cool thing is that, you know, the cape here does help with the articulation. He can be a bit back heavy, but because the cape's in the way, it kind of helps him to stand really well there. So overall, Death's Head here is pretty cool. Again, pretty accurate to what I remember from the comic. If I had any bit of nitpicks for me, would be the joints are a little too tight, especially around the shoulder area and especially the knees. So you will have to play around with them, be a little careful. Sometimes, especially the knees, it feels like you may break something, but they will come a little loose after a while. I also did have just a bit of a minor issue with the hand that's made to hold the weapons. He holds the weapons pretty well, but the shield that I have now attached back here fits in really loose. It is soft. The hand is soft plastic. So, I mean, you can mold it back up, but the shield feels like really loose in hand. But other than that, I mean, I think those are minor nitpicks. So, as I said, pretty happy here with Death's Head. Figure, let's do some comparisons as we wrap up the video. Let's start us off here with Kingdom Galvatron. So you can see what these two look like together. I believe, at least from what I recall in the comic, there was in the Transformers comics anyway, there's a bit of a story here where I think there's a bounty on Galvatron's head, and this guy's trying to collect it. So just figure I'd show these two together. We'll put Death's Head out of the way, bring in Scourge, or the Sweep, however you want to call him. Death's Head here is taller, but so you can see what that looks like. We'll move him out of the way, bring in Cyclonus, and pretty similar in size. See them there standing together. We'll move them out of the way. And then we had the comic edition Shockwave here. Shockwave is smaller. That looks really cool. Get him out. Why not throw in a little one? I have Goldbug out here. Obviously this is Bumblebee, but Goldbug as we know him. So completely dwarfs him in size. We'll move him out. And let's bring in Wreck-Gar. This is again, Studio Series here, but they both look pretty cool together. Let's move that Junkion out of the way and bring in Blaster. And Death's Head so far, he's a little taller than most of these Transformers. Move Blaster out here, and we'll bring in Soundwave. This is the Netflix Soundwave here. Definitely smaller than Death's Head. And lastly, we had Kingdom Rodimus Prime, and he is slightly smaller than Death's Head. Alright, so that's going to do it for me, guys. Overall, as I said, this is a pretty cool figure. I got this specifically because, again, I'm familiar with him from the older Transformers comics. I know eventually he did make his way into Marvel Comics and then may have been resurrected into IDW. So he's been around quite a while. And then we had Death's Head 2. Personally, I prefer this look of the character, and I think they've done a good job here bringing in this figure. If you have any questions, or if I missed anything, please feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, if you made it to the end of the video, again, thank you so much for your very valuable time, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.